today. And we know of towns that have multiple casinos, so I'll leave that at that. But the point is, the gladiators, they didn't just leave it at doing their job. They weren't just doing their job. They were literally trying to best each other. The gladiators dwelt in their own realm, a realm where greatness was accidental. You did great things physically on accident that everyone else struggled to achieve on purpose. Alright, got another one for you guys. This one's gonna be fun. Got another one for you. The top gladiators. What we can learn from the gladiators of ancient Rome. Man, where do I even begin on this? My goodness. Shall we begin? Shall I begin? Yep. Yes, indeed. Let's go. So, for this one, I think you guys already know. I could go real deep into this one in terms of education wise. I could give you dates, I could give you names, I could, but if you haven't noticed by now, this isn't a education channel. I leave the education to the educators. Because, though I may call myself a teacher by mistake or by whim, from time to time, I'm not a teacher, and in the general sense, in the grand scheme of things, I don't consider myself to be a teacher. I'm a philosopher. So you may walk away from this learning something that's absolutely all right, but my job is to make you think. That's what I'm here for. That's what philosophers are in this world to do. We're in this world to make you think, to make people think. See, to make other philosophers think. If you're a philosopher, hey, you should enjoy this. You should enjoy this. But I just want to, kind of clear that up, because we're not going to get into so much education. The last thing I want is someone checking this out and saying, oh, I didn't really learn anything. I wanted to learn about the gladiators. The name of this is What Can We Learn from the Gladiators? And what I don't want to do is to teach you about the gladiators. I want to I don't want to teach you what the gladiators did. Rather, I want to show you why they did it. See the change in verbiage there? I want to show Why? How? See, not when, but maybe where. See, if we get into a little bit of metaphysics, let's get into the meta side of this. See, so that's what we're doing today. Now, I wanna start this off with a punch. All right, we have gladiators today. They haven't gone anywhere. It's just another form of it. They're gladiators incarnated, and it's what we know as the sports industry today. The sports industry. And the same way that we have gladiators, we have the games, the arena games, where so much filth and, you know, just all kinds of sin would just take place. They're called casinos. The gaming industry, see, it's just reincarnated. See, and all those guys that's up in those box seats, you better believe, you know, they're the Romans of this world. They're the Senate of this world. And the people in the seats, the people in the stands, they're the populace. You know, it's the senatus and populace of Rome. So let's get into it. Gladiators, the gladiators of ancient Rome, they're different than gladiators today, than athletes that we all idolatrize over today, that we idolize today. They were much different. And I would say even more profound, more relevant, more prevalent than our gladiators today, than our LeBron Jameses and, you know, I really don't keep up. Our Lewis Hamiltons, he's a gladiator too. He's a gladiator too, a charioteer gladiator. The ones from old, it was much different. Reason why is because it was much more relevant. If you were into sports in ancient times, it was a little more productive, even though it was more distracting, even though it was much more whimsical. It was still more productive. Why? Because it was based on the most important thing that really determined power in that time. And it was the ability to fight, the ability to war, the ability to duel. They turned it into a sport, see? Whereas you can't really convert bouncing the ball into any other industry in this world that will bring any kind of relevance or any kind of productivity. You can't convert, you know, throwing the ball across a field. Can't convert that into any other relevant or productive way of life, and, you know, find any kind of success. Whereas a gladiator, if he fought his way to freedom, he could actually hone his skills and become a trainer within a within the military, see, and actually make a name for himself in the Roman military, if he so choose. You know, as rare as that is, as gifted one would have to be to do so, it's still a possibility. That was something that could have been heavily monetized in that time, where all the free gladiators will become trainers in the military, you know, strengthening the nation by way of being a trainer. That's just a sample. That's just an idea. But the gladiators were actually on to something. Now, I just finished doing a video on John Wick and tying that in with the Matrix, and then tying that into today's world. So, if you want to click on that one, please. If you want to learn about that one, please, I really highly encourage you guys to check that one out if you haven't already. That one has a lot of secrets in it. I'll just leave it at that. But the gladiators were actually on to something. They weren't just slaves. They weren't just slaves. In the grand scheme of things, yeah, they were slaves. But you have to remember what kind of people that were being enslaved. You have to remember what kind of people were being enslaved. And you have to think about what kind of system that had to be created to keep this caliber of men in chains. Why did it take Spartacus for these guys to rebel, to revolt? In modern day terms, all these guys been had hands. All these guys had hands, and they could throw them with the quickness. But we gotta look at that. Why did it take Spartacus? See, because the system that was created for them, it was so heavily steeped and strategically steeped in delusion that these guys actually felt like they were winning as a slave more than they were as a person with power in their own nation. And to a sense, that's actually true. You're talking about someone that may have been a chieftain, may have been a warlord over a small city-state, losing a battle, and instead of being sacrificed or executed, they would be enslaved to be servant, to be entertainer to the most powerful unit in the world. That's a promotion. And if you guys seen the Spartacus series on Stars, if you have the stomach for it, if you remember, when Spartacus, when the group that was with Spartacus was brought to that ludus, then that speech, that welcome speech that Gladiators was given, it was like, hey, you may think that you're in hell, but we're here to tell you, you've been promoted. Whatever you was doing in your nation, it was nothing in comparison to the grand scheme of the world. You was a king or chieftain in a small portion of your country, over a small portion of your country, a small portion that could barely even find peace with his neighbors. And now you're amongst one of the greatest schools of entertainers for the most powerful nation in the world. You ought to be proud of yourselves just for being here. You gotta think about that. See, so that's an applause to the Romans. That's an applause to the Romans. It's kind of dark, I know. People are afraid of the term slave today. because it was fed to them with a steroid I like to call Marxism. So it is a little dark, to enslave people. I get it. But there's much to learn from these guys. You're talking about a school, a collection of the greatest fighters in the world, from all over the world. Rome, being the superpower that it was able to strategically outmaneuver its foes to the point where the greatest champions wouldn't commit suicide. They wouldn't, of course, they're not going to retreat, but they would get captured and their lives would be spared long enough for them to be enslaved and taken to a ludus or a gladiator school. See? So, hey, we have to give respect where respect is due. Rome was very smart for that. It was almost diabolical. It's like, where did all this wisdom come from? But that just shows you what men can do, what we can do when we don't have Marxism in our veins. I mean, let's just get down to it. Let's just get down to it, man. When we don't have Marxism, it shows you what men can do when they just put their mind to something and they don't have Marxism in them, messing up their digestive system, messing up their cognitive focus. So, and I'll say this and I'll move on from that, but feats like that was common stuff. It was everyday stuff for men in ancient times. If you was a man in ancient times and you didn't achieve stuff like that, it was because you was doing something like that on a smaller scale, and you was just happy with whatever you was given responsibility over, whether it was land, livestock, maybe a carpentry business, whatever. You was just satisfied with that. Complacency. That's probably the only reason why you wouldn't be great as a man in ancient times. Just complacency. That's it. Whereas today, there's so many reasons for you to not be great, and there's about one way for you to be great. So, and that's nothing to boo-hoo over. It's just we got to use our minds today, and that takes me back to the point of that I want to get to with these gladiators. The gladiators were breaking the system. They were hacking the system, and no one even realized it. You got to think about it. Across Rome, across the Roman Empire, there were different ludi or luduses across the Roman Empire. There was a ludus for every for every Roman province, for every major Roman province. The best example that I could give is how there's a major arena, sports arena, for every major city in the world. See, and for a nicely established city, you're gonna have multiple kinds of arenas. You're gonna have a basketball arena, which could be turned into a hockey arena if there's a hockey team in that area. Then you're gonna have a baseball arena. You're gonna have a horse track, right? And you're also gonna have a racetrack. Whereas in ancient times, it was mainly you had a ludus, you had a arena, and you had a circus. If this was a happening city, see, if it was a happening city, you had a circus too. That's when you was really doing something. It's when you had a circus too. You know, having a circus in ancient times was the equivalent to having a casino today. And we know of towns that have multiple casinos, so I'll leave that at that. But the point is, the gladiators, they didn't just leave it at doing their job. They weren't just doing their job. They were literally trying to best each other. The gladiators dwelt in their own realm, a realm where greatness was accidental. You did great things physically on accident that everyone else struggled to achieve on purpose. See, that's why I like the power scaling of the Spartacus series, because when they put Julius Caesar against Gannicus, you're just throwing them around the place, just throwing them, and it shows the difference. Mind you, Caesar was already a champion in the battlefield, a great general. But here he is standing against this one man, and he's just getting thrown around the place. Why? Because the gladiators dwelt in a realm of greatness. And this is a time you have to remember, what mattered most in this time was war. Money. What money is today, that's what war was in ancient times. And to be even more specific, combat. See. So the gladiators, they were surgical marksmen. The surgical marksmen of the ancient world. And their job was just to entertain people. But they gave it their all. And there was no one within Rome to say, hey, maybe we should tone this down a bit. I'm talking about Spartacus's time. There was no one to say, hey, maybe we should tone this down a bit. These guys are better than our soldiers. They're better. Don't you think that's a bad idea? See? And just an idea of how powerful that concept is. Spartacus, when he freed the gladiators at Gladiators' ludus, they went over to other ludi also and freed some of those gladiators, and their numbers started stacking up. See, of course they couldn't free all of them. They would have been put down at some point, but you have to think about that. You got to think about that. These guys are better than the soldiers, and they done freed themselves. Someone done left the gate open because they were hacking the system. They were hacking it. They weren't just doing their job at that point. They got so good at what they were doing that they were uncontrollable, that they couldn't be controlled. See how this kind of ties in to John Wick? See how it kind of ties into the Matrix? The Matrix has a comic where one of the anomalies, one of the first ones before Neo, he was a track runner in the Matrix, and that was his That was his trade. That's what he would do. He was a track runner, another form of a gladiator, right? A modern gladiator. And there was some kind of scandal with him using steroids. Whether he did or not, we're not on that point. What happened is all he was doing, all this track runner was doing, was just trying to give the race his all, trying to give it his all. And he was a strong seeker of the truth, the thing that you get after taking the red pill, the thing that the red pill actually is, right? All the red pill is, it's just a program that puts the truth into your, or your ability to receive the truth into your database, into your mainframe, into your programming, right? Wouldn't it be nice to just find a pill like that? But anyway, this track runner, he was running and his muscles gave out. His leg, one of his legs gave out, and he kept running. He kept going. And as he kept going, because that adrenaline was, it kicked in for him. But as he kept running, he started questioning reality, because he realized that, wait a minute, my muscles just gave out on me. I know my muscles gave out, but I'm still able to run because of this adrenaline. Sure enough, his other leg muscles gave out, and he kept running. See, by this point, he's pretty much sure, he has all the proof that he needs to know that this reality that he's in is just a simulation and there is a world beyond. So he kept running and kept running and kept running until finally he went into a different realm. He broke outside of the matrix, and he actually red pilled himself. So he didn't even need a red pill. He got the equivalent of the red pill just by seeking the truth. And there's a long story of, there's more to the story of the agents, trying to stop him and things of that nature. But the point of this is, it is possible to do something and to be so good at it that you actually hack the system that restricts those that do that craft, those that do that thing, those that operate within that trade. You can actually crack the system, hack it to the point where there will be no control on your abilities, no limits to your abilities. See, and that's what the gladiators were doing. That's what we can learn from the gladiators, is that it is possible to get so good at a thing that you start hacking the system that confines you to just another competitor. But you get to a point where it's you done turned this thing into an art. You done turned this into an art. People are watching you. People are heating up coffee to watch you do something that everybody is doing across the world. It's an art. See? That's what we can learn from the gladiators. Now, I don't think I don't know. I know we're not going to go into how to do that in this one, but I just wanted to, just kind of ruffle your guys' feathers just for a bit, just to get you to think, get your minds thinking on that concept there. What is it that you do that you call your profession? What is it that you call your passion? A lot of people don't understand what passion means. Passion is a true passion is something that you can do, that you could tie purpose to, that you could say, I was born for this. You know, we all seen a movie where, you know, the guy that we're rooting for, or the guy that we're, you know, rooting against, they're doing their whatever it is that they're doing, and then they say, I was born for this. They remind the person that is opposing them, hey, you're dealing with someone that that sole purpose is to do this thing. This isn't going to be a walk in the park. See? Passion. What's your passion? And the idea behind this is, what we can learn from the gladiators is, yes, you can take your passion, the thing that you tie your purpose to, and get so good at it to the point where you start actually hacking the system. And when I say hack the system, I don't mean illegal activity. You know, that's pipsqueak talk. That's low level thinking. That's a vagabond's mind. We're on higher things here on this channel. We're philosophers. When I say hack the system, I mean break the limits that those that create the platform for you to do your passion in, you break the limits that they placed on you to make you just another competitor, or just another worker, or just another NPC in the field, another slave. That's something that we could learn from the gladiators. See? And it was normal. It was normal for them. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave you guys with that. I hope that blessed you. This is definitely gonna be a series. I can see it right now. But light that comment section up. All right, light that comment section up. I want to know what you guys are thinking. You know, if you guys don't let me know what you're thinking, I can't give you what you want to hear. That's common sense, right? It's about 300 of us, man. Let me know what you're thinking, and I could give you guys what you want. All right. So thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing. Hey, and be great. Stay wise.